Hi, hello. So, guys, I've read so many books recently, but I did not have the time to actually make videos for it. There were some really great books that I've read and some really bad books. And I today want to talk about the bad books because I'm feeling ranty today. So, stick with me and we will discuss 5 gloriously bad books. So first we're going to talk about Daughter of the Pirate King. Look how beautiful that cover is. You see that? Do you see that? It's gorgeous. Exactly, and that's why it gets 1 star. Because the cover is beautiful, and I will not deny that. It's a beautiful cover, marketing done really well. That's why I bought the book. I have all 3 of the books. I was not even aware there are 3 books. But I bought all 3 of them because they're beautiful. And I was like, alright, pirate story. And my roommate and I, we were reading that book together. And we suffered. We suffered a lot. Okay, we both are 28-year-old women. And this is obviously a teenage story. Alright? So we were aware of that fact. We were aware that it's a young adult story, which is fine. No issue with that. Our issue is with everything else. This story is really childish. The story is really flawed. There are often like plot holes where we're like, but why did she even do that in the first place when she was gonna do that anyway? So many things that were not understandable why it was done that way. It made no sense, but it is what it is. We're following Alosa, the daughter of the Pirate King, on her journey to find the second piece of a map. It's supposed to be an adventure story, which it was, I guess. Throughout the whole book, Elsa keeps telling us how great she is and how strong she is and how smart she is and how smarter she is. How much smarter she is compared to anyone else. You know, the thing is, if you compare that book to Sarah J. Maas's book with, you know, Selena Zadothian. Selena Zadothian actually was smart and she actually was badass and she actually could do amazing things. While the things Alosa did in the book were all childish and they were so lackluster. Like, a lot of the things were anticlimactic, and if they weren't, it was just stupid. Like, there was this one situation where Alosa was fighting 3 really big, brawny men, and she's, you know, this wispy, skinny girl, which is fine. But obviously, she's the strongest and whatever, alright? The thing is that she already had down one of the guys and the 2 others are coming at her and she takes the heads and smacks them together hard. And that's literally how it's written in there. She smacks them together, point, hard, like period. So I'm like, wow. And later, she was surprised that those 2 men she smacked together hard are still alive. And I'm like, girl, what are you talking about? Anyway, she's on her journey to get the map. And she obviously falls in love with one of her captors, Raiden. I say captors like this because, oh no. Alosa is never there against her will because she chose to be here and she can leave any moment she wants. Because Alosa is playing a role. It's really crucial that you understand that because the author will remind you every second page at least 3 times. Crucial. Alosa is like, oh, I can kill all of you. But I should act like I'm here against my own will. So I guess I should be snarky at them now. Oh, I guess I should do this and that now. Sure, darling. Sure. Act, please. Because she doesn't. She just keeps telling us how she's doing that. So the whole book long, I was like, please be over and I will never look the other 2 books ever again. I will just leave them in my shelf and admire the beauty because in that case, beauty really is not inner beauty. So yes. But guys, if you have enjoyed the book, that's amazing. I'm really happy for you. I think I'm just too old for this, and it was really naive and stupid. There was no chemistry between Raiden and Alosa. Alosa was the most annoying girl ever, and if you read the book, I really want to know how you felt about it. I hope you loved it more than I did, which is not difficult because, yeah. Next book, Crave by Tracy Wolff. I will make this short, okay? Because it's been a while that I've read this. And if you have liked The Daughter of the Pirate King and Once Upon a Broken Heart, you will like this book too. But to be warned, alright? This whole story is like a week, alright? This whole book could have been this, and the story in itself could have been better thought out, or at least have a better duration, or at least make the girl tiny bit smarter, which she was not. Of course she was not. Because obviously most romance girls are some kind of stupid because they always need constant explanations. So yeah. So the thing is, what I'm trying to say here now is I really hated that book. At first I thought it was funny. It's basically Twilight just with a twist, actually. Because our main girl, I will just call her Bella because I have the Twilight names better in my head. Because our main girl, Bella, she's actually magical herself, which the readers are aware. Like, I never questioned that. For me, it was clear that she's gonna be magical in some way. It was really clear from the start. And the thing is that often phrases are used in the book that don't make sense. So there's this one moment where she's almost dying. She chooses to. I'm not telling you exactly the specifics. What I'm trying to say is that she's like saying, that's what I have prepared for my whole life. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, this happens at the end of the book. She has not been prepared for anything. She has known nothing. She still doesn't know what she is. And then she's rescuing someone. And she's like, that's what I've prepared for my whole life. You've been there for a week. What are you saying? That makes no sense. No sense. Or there's this one line while she gets, I don't know, tortured or something, where she's like questioning if she's magical herself. And she's like, oh, is that what the voice has been trying to tell me? Like her inner voice. And I'm like, girl, there was no inner voice up until now. Like, that's the first time we're hearing of this. But afterwards thinking that, she actually the author actually included an inner voice. Where I'm like, there you are. Where have you been? And I've been critical throughout the book. So I would have noticed if there was actually moments where she was thinking. But there was no moments. You know why? Because she was busy lusting after the vampire she's known for 5 days to kiss and smooch and have sex with, which is fine. I'm not faulting her for that. What I'm faulting here is like the writing style and trying to make something special, because that's how you make something special, right? Saying like, oh, that's what I've been waiting for my whole life, and that's what I've been trying to prepare myself for my whole life, and oh, that's what the voice have been trying to tell me, but there are no such things. So to me, there were often moments that just fell flat because the author tried to make something special when it was not. And in the end, she just turned like in the most ridiculous creature ever. And I was just laughing. I was really just laughing upon hearing what creature she turned into. And I was like, of course you are. That actually suits you. And, you know, the book actually ends with a cliffhanger, and I'm fine with that. Stay the way you are. And if you have read the book, you actually know what kind of stage she stays in. So stay there, and I hope I will never have to hear from you again. Alright, the next one is Gilded. And to be fair, Gilded was not that horrible compared to the others. Gilded is, again, a beautiful book. They're like eyes here. I don't know if you can see that. Which it actually was not a bad book. I think I will give it like 3 stars. But here, again, this is such a teenage story. It was actually a Rumpelstiltskin story, which is fine. Completely fine. My issue with that book is how often we had to explain the main girl that magic requires payment. Alright? And we are following, like, the Rumpelstiltskin story. It's a fairy tale book. It has a small twist, but it's basically that. I won't tell too much about this. But from the very first moment we see her, we get to know she's a storyteller, she's smart, she has a gift. All of those things are fine and amazing. She rescues some creatures. I forgot what they're called. She rescues some creatures, and then they tell her, we have to give you a gift because magic requires payment. Alright, and then she gets taken by the Erlkönig, which is funny because it's a German word, and I listened to an English audiobook and they were butchering that word so much. So it's completely wrong in my head now. But she got captured by the Erlkönig, and he demands her to spin straw to gold, which is the Rumpelstiltskin story. She meets a guy, the Rumpelstiltskin guy, who's called the Gilded something. He spins the straw to gold, and every time that happens, he explains to her, I need you to pay me so I can magic this. And she takes every time like, oh, can't you just do it out of the goodness of your heart? And he's like, no, that's not how magic works. So the next time he helps her again, and then she's like, oh, can't you do it because you like me? And he's like, no, that's not how magic works. And then again, and every time she's shocked that she needs to pay him. And I'm like, girl, why are you shocked? He keeps telling you you need to pay him. And he's like, girl, pay me. And she's like, but I don't have anything. What am I supposed to do? Can't you just help me? Because you want to help me? No, he can't. And he kept telling you. And then she's like, all right, but I don't have anything to give. That's not the first time you're in this situation. Why did you not think of that? So that's what I mean. Like, girls in books sometimes are so massively stupid, and I don't understand why. This is actually something that bothers me. It also bothers me in romance books. When I read something and the girl is just massively stupid, and I'm like, how is this possible? Why are you doing this? And that's exactly what happens here with Gilded. Like, that girl, she's not massively stupid, to be fair, but that was like a really slow moment for her where every time magic happened and she was like, oh, I have nothing to offer. Why did you not think of that? And he even asks her. And he's like, how did you not think of that? Like, you were aware this would happen again. And she's like, well, I thought you could just do it because you liked me. No. Magic requires payment. What don't you understand? And he explained it to her every time. Like, that's something that really bothered me a lot. That we constantly have to explain simple rules to girls because they are not listening. And even though she's lived it so far, she has already given away a ring, a necklace, and her future child, Rumpelstiltskin story. And the fourth time, she's still standing there like, but I have nothing to give. Why are you in this situation even? Like, no, it was annoying. But it was not as bad as the other stuff. So, the next book is Tomorrow, Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle 7. I have to be honest, I quit that book at 30% because I could not. We are following those game developers, and first up, I have to say that's a me problem with this book too, because I really did not get into the writing style at all. I was not a fan of how the writing style worked and how it described things. The next thing I was not a fan of was that we are taking everything that is a political issue right now and we're stuffing it in that book, and I'm only at 30%, all right? Maybe it was 46. I'm not even at half point. And I'm like, why are we doing this? So this book was just something, I guess. If you've loved the book, I'm so glad for you. I really am. I actually picked it up because it was quite pop, and I just can't understand why. Just tell me why this book is so popular. It is shallow. It is really shallow. It is like brushing over actually important topics or topics that could be important, and it's just like brushing over it to be so that it's like touched upon. And I'm like, why? The characters are not likable at all. Like, I don't have any feelings for any of those characters. No, that book was just, I wish I would not have bought that on Audible, so that I can actually buy something that I've actually liked. And this year, like, I know I bought this, but I bought this over my mom's store, so I will not return this. At least it's a pretty book. Like, come on guys, at least it's pretty. You see, like, wow, shiny and pretty. But like, as an Audible, I'm like, I wish I didn't have you. And I bought it because I didn't get into the story, because I minded the writing style. So I was like, okay, maybe if I just listen to it, it's gonna be better. It wasn't. And when I was at the point where we were at the cellist who feels everything better when she's naked, I'm like, why? What purpose does this character now have? Why? No. Yeah, so that's the next book where I'm like, but that's actually not something where I'm like, oh, this is childishly written, or the characters are so annoying, like with all the other books we just had. This book was something else entirely, and I wish I wouldn't have had the misfortune of reading it. The last book we're talking about today is The Bride Test by Helen Huang. And believe me, I hated that book. I really, really did. We have our main girl who's obsessed with Disney princesses, which is funny because her favorite Disney princess is Esmeralda, where I'm like, that's not a Disney princess, but fine. And our main girl, Esme, because Esmeralda, gets flown to America because a random woman asked her to seduce her son to marriage. And fun fact, Esme actually has a child and has her mother, who were both in Asia. I'm not quite sure what country it was they're staying at, but she's from Asia and she gets flown to America, leaving her child behind because no one gets to know she has a child, because that will of course hinder her chances with the guy she's trying to seduce. So she gets the amazing advice from her mother to go all out and seduce him. She's wearing very tight dresses, which is fine. I'm not hating on that. I'm just trying to tell you that she's trying really hard to seduce the guy. The thing is, we get the concept of him having an illness, which is actually barely an issue for the story, which is fine. The thing that I mind is Esme herself, because she demands everything from the guy without herself being honest to him, because she actually continues to make him fall in love with her while they're actually like falling for each other. But he is autistic, so he does not feel love the way everyone else does, but she has no regard for that. She wants him to say I love you, so she's breaking up with him and staying somewhere else until the summer is over, and then she can go back home because he does not tell her that he loves her, while she still has not told him that she has a child. Mind you, like, what? Anyway, she's riding the high horse and he's saying it in his own way a lot. So he's like, okay, but stay with me. You can have a green card, just stay with me. He showed her that he loves her, but she wanted to hear it. And he doesn't say it. So the brother decided to help out and say, oh, if my brother doesn't marry you, I will marry you. And then they're inviting the main guy to the wedding. Of course, he's jealous, but he's autistic, so he can't pinpoint his feelings. Where I'm like, you still have not told him that you have a child. That you conveniently forgot about that. And then they are hoping that the main guy crashes the wedding to tell our main girl, Esme, that he's in love with her. And at the wedding, when he's crashing it, he learns that she has a child. Which, guys, I'm not condemning her for having a child. I'm condemning her for not saying she has a child. Where I'm like, excuse me, but it does make a difference. I'm sorry, but that makes a difference. Like, if I'm about to marry a person and she ends up marrying him that day, they're just switching out brothers, I would like to know if my partner has a child. But that was like, oh, Esme, I'm just so glad. I love you. Oh, there's a tiny Esme. Hello, aren't you cute? And she's like, yeah, that's my daughter. And he's like, oh, well, let's marry. And I'm like, no. But yeah, that was that book. So that's all. Guys, I'm done with my rant about books. I've actually read a lot of good books too, but that I will talk about next time. Ciao!